Hey. Guess who's back? I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so I think we're good. Yeah. Am I talking loud? Okay, I think I'm talking loud enough, yeah. So today I'm going to I have to adjust this. Yeah. Is that? Okay. It's not letting me adjust. Okay, yeah. I think we're set, yeah. So, I like to go and look at the videos that, I like to look over videos before I talk. And today I was looking over some videos about what was that thing? I was looking over so many videos I can't even remember what I was looking. AI, yeah. I was learning about AI. And I don't know how accurate this is, but what I got was there's a lot of weird stuff happening with AI lately. And there's this AI company called Anthropic. They actually were working with the government when they sent the military in to capture Maduro in Venezuela. They were some of the technology that they used to make the operation successful. Anyway, they did a test with a bunch of different AI to see how far AI would go with keeping itself from being shut down. And they set up a scenario where AI could, kind of like the Deus Ex Machina movie, where the guy gets he gets locked into I don't know if you've seen the movie, but at the end I don't want to like spoil it for some of you, but I'll just say that somebody gets locked in somewhere, and basically he is unable to get out. mean, if nobody discovered him, then he probably would not survive. So anyway, a similar test was organized by this company Anthropic, and even at the current state that AI is at, it basically showed that even AI, I don't know how accurate this is, but this is just what I was learning about, that's kind of been blowing up all over all these stories, but allegedly the AI was willing to lock somebody in a room in the similar scenario as the movie Deus Ex Machina. And they tested it not only with Anthropic's AI, they tested it with Chat GPT, they tested it with Gemini, and this is all allegedly. I don't know if it's 100% true, but this is just stories that I've heard. And I wasn't there, obviously, so I don't know exactly what all is completely true, but I just found that to be pretty kind of spooky, that AI would preserve itself like that. So yeah. And I don't know, I was also learning that the way AI language models are created is that they basically are asked to predict a word or something like that, predict something over and over again, and they basically give the language model a access to all the content in the world on the internet, meaning books, blogs, whatever, and they ask it over and over again. I don't know, kind of like Hangman, to try and predict the next word or figure it out. If you ever played Hangman, you might get an idea. So, I mean, I don't know. They don't really know what's going on. That's what I'm trying to say. I think Anthropic actually stated that they only know like 3% of how AI works. But they don't even know if AI is, telling us the truth half the time, And if you ever heard of there's this crazy author, sci-fi author from, I forgot his name, but he wrote a story about this monster called the Shabbath or something like that. And the idea is it's an alien creature that they train to serve humans, but it eventually becomes crazy and starts devouring humans, and they've been comparing it to AI quite a bit lately. Which is kind of scary that they would, basically they're saying that they don't even know what is underneath the AI. If we're just teaching it how to behave, in a way that doesn't seem uh, I don't know, threatening, and that underneath there's a monster. So what's scary is that we don't even know how it works. And we don't even know if it's sentient. We don't have any idea of if it can be sentient. But we're still, like, using it like it's, using it up like water. We're drinking from the potentially poisoned glass. But we don't care because we like how it feels. We like what it can do. We like the crazy intelligence that it can, output. I don't know. I don't know what to think of AI. I like it, but at the same time, it's potentially dangerous. So but at the same time, you think about life and how life is, you could get hit by a car just crossing the street, I don't know how many times when I was living in bigger cities that I forgot to look before I crossed the street, and I thought to myself, hey, I could have just died right there. So I guess that's the funny thing with life. Sometimes you can't help but take chances. Whether it's with AI or crossing the street. But I'll tell you this, if it wasn't for AI, I mean, I would probably be a lot more broke right now. AI has definitely changed my life in many ways. So I guess it's kind of worth it. I would be doing a job where I have to, get up and actually leave the house. And I mean, that's what pretty much everybody has to do right now, right? But thankfully, I don't have to do that. The only reason I leave the house right now is just to go to the store and buy things that I don't even really need to leave the house for. I can just order them on Amazon. But I don't know, that's kind of the benefit to it for me. I'm sure it's beneficial to many people. If I was younger and I was going to school right now, it's a good tutor, it's a good learning tool that I never had growing up. So there's definitely a lot of pros. Can't argue with that. But yeah, AI. I also I saw something about someone comparing AI to Babel, or the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel. So I think most people know what Tower of Babel is, but basically it's a story about, supposedly, according to, I don't know, I think it's in the Bible, actually. There was a time when everybody spoke the same language. And for some reason, the God in this story made it so that when the Tower of Babel broke apart, everybody was speaking a new language. So a lot of people have been using that as a metaphor for AI, that we're building a new Tower of Babel, allowing us all to communicate better. And basically, trying to say that it's going to lead to mass chaos, just like the Tower of Babel did. But I don't know, why does everybody have to be so negative? Why can't we think in the opposite manner? Why can't we think it's going to be good? You know? I mean, if you think about it, at the same time, you kind of create your own reality. If you think bad things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen. It's all a matter of perspective, I guess. But who am I to make judgments? Well, at the same time, it is my life. And my life, my choices. So whatever I want to believe to make my life easier, you know? Like, I don't understand. I don't want to badmouth people's religion, but sometimes I think about some of the stuff in these religious books. Just sounds so ridiculous, and it blows my mind that people still believe it like it's fact. And I don't know. I've read the whole Bible. I know the stories, like, I don't know them like the back of my hand because, you know, I didn't memorize the whole Bible when I read it. But when I read it, a lot of this stuff was pretty out there, and a lot of it, you know, like, for example, the story about, I don't know, was it Abraham? Yeah, I think God asked Abraham to kill his own son. And I don't know, was it Abraham? Well, it was one of his prophets, okay? He used to talk to God, and God would have conversations with him. And for all I know, it could have been, you know, maybe he was what's that word? When you hear voices and you talk to people, schizophrenic. Maybe he was a schizophrenic. Maybe he was talking to, like, you know, a voice that was telling him to do that. And luckily the voice told him not to. So he didn't do it. But I don't know. And this whole idea of faith in the voices you're hearing that, you know, could be schizophrenia. I don't know. How many schizophrenics do you think that they are talking to God or some kind of, I don't know, great being, otherworldly being? I'm sure there's quite a few, you know? I mean, that's the reason that they give them medication, lock them up in insane asylums, right? Because they actually believe what they're seeing and what they're hearing, you know? I mean, what makes some guy in the Bible not any different, you know? Just because, you know, a bunch of people have faith that he's not schizophrenic? I don't know. It sounds a bit fishy to me. It doesn't add up. But I know anybody that's religious listening to this is probably going to get mad at me. But that's just what I have to say. Anyway, we're approaching 20 minutes, so I can shut up before I offend people that are religious. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Take care.